Yes, thank you, Stiz. We're, of course, looking at a game between TC and IG. First round of Northmen Gaming League's first introductory tournament, where these two teams are going to fight off in the best content League of Legends you're going to see this evening.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
See, IG going for the jungle invade. I don't know whether they're trying to just catch someone out or they might go for the red buff steal, but we'll see. Seems that TC are full aware and backing off accordingly, and IG are leaving now.
There's a lot where the level 1 from the side of IG is very, very strong indeed. They have Gangplank, of course, passive and Q, has 2 abilities pretty much at level 1. And Vrel has her knock-up as well. She can jump over walls or hit as well. So it's very strong, this level 1. So not surprising to see a level 1 invade. Good vision down as well, so they know where this Nocturne's starting. Gonna be interesting to see what they're gonna do with this information, where probably the top side's gonna have to play a bit more careful on this Gangplank. He might get dove, in fact, on the level 3, level 4 wave. But we'll see how this progresses.
It'll be interesting to see which lanes the junglers focus, whether they want to get someone really far ahead or they're just going to help someone out stay relevant in the laning phase if they're far behind.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see what the focus of these junglers is going to be. Of course, right now Pacific on this Lilia, clearing up to the top side, clearing his Krugs, probably going to move to his Raptors next, which Lilia does really, really quickly. And I'm looking to see some action on the opposite sides of the map for now, where Lilia is going to path towards this bot side, has a lot of engage, of course, on the side of the Rel. And this Nocturne's going to move up to the top side, where he's going to have...
got a good few barrels. He's going in for the 1v1 against Dawn, he gets the full breath, manages to get the brittle passive, and that's both flashes top lane, and Dawn gets first blood. And that was a good play by Orn. He managed to lock him down long enough for his corrupting pot to not mean much and not get him back into the fight or get the burn on Orn himself.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate. Underestimating this early damage coming out from the Orn, of course. Gangplank is very good in these early levels, but if you get into melee range of an Orn and he's taking these longer trades with you, you start losing them to... Of course, he has Grasp as well, so that makes it even worse. And it's just difficult to fight at that point.
That's it, the game is now open, and you see the lead go towards TC. And there's a bit of scrapping in the mid lane, but nothing too interesting. Phish pushing the wave in. Lilia roaming around bot scuttle as Nocturne tries to take the top one.
It's It's a lot of trading happening around the map. Really.
Yeah.
Bot lane is the safest lane, but top lane's already died 1v1. And you see in the mid lane a bit of a CS lead starting to develop. And as I said, Lilia's headed towards the bot side. They are aware though, and they might just start splitting the map right here, where Gangplank needs to be careful because he's going to get ganked by Nocturne.
Yeah, the Nocturne's coming up. Leon misses a bit, but he lands the knock up with his QE combo. Nocturne's got the fear and the spell shield, but it's CC's denied by Gangplank's W. Nocturne with the auto attacks, and that's another kill for Ron.
I don't know why he's there. He knows his jungler's on the bottom side of the map. He knows that his Krugs is just about to respawn, and he has no business being that far up the lane. It's unfortunate to see, obviously, because you want to see these players perform at the highest level, but it's a good punish, definitely, from the side of Neil to 5-2 Beast, and then this top lane's not gonna get that much better for the side of Vorpa on this Gangplank, where he's down 14 CS. Orn's got 2 kills. He's gonna back probably on like maybe even Ninja Tab Eyes or maybe a Bramble Vest he's gonna go for, and then it's very, very difficult for this Gangplank to find any priority left in this lane.
Yeah, I think this is just a matter of fact. If this Gangplank does want to get back into the game, he needs to hope his team can survive long enough that the Ornn doesn't make too big of an impact around the map, and he can scale up to what Gangplank is late game.
Yeah, definitely agree with you there, where Gangplank of course has his ult as well, so he can still affect the other sides of the map. And I mean there is 1,000 gold lead right now on the side of TC, where maybe this Lilius jungle will start feeling this pressure right now building up, where she has gonna have to do something. But Nocturne,
And that's the Nocturne in bot lane. The TP is coming out from Silas. He goes to re-engage, but he misses his E. And it's a bit of a letdown fight in the bot lane, but I do think this bot lane is gonna be quite passive until one of the junglers comes in and gets a good gank and manages to secure a kill or two. Because other than that, they've not been trading like as much. I do see IG's bot lane coming out on top at the minute with Kaisar not evolved to Q, but we'll just have to see how it goes when a jungler ganks.
yeah, definitely the junglers is gonna make the biggest influence, of course. However, in the mid lane,
And that's a fizzled onto the Nocturne from Silas, and Lilia to follow up, and that's an easy kill. It's a good punish.
he's just clearing vision in the jungle. He has no priority bot lane, he has no priority mid lane, he doesn't know where Lily is, and now Drake's gonna go over to IG, and it's a very, very big swing, in fact, in the favor of them, where now they bought themselves time, where now they can actually start stacking up these Drakes as a win condition, and if they can get to this I don't know 20-30 game position.
See the Vayne engaged, the Galio tries to get out, and the Ignite's burns on him, and he tries to taunt, but Lilia manages to take the kill, and that's another kill. And now IG have just edged ahead in gold. The Vayne's carrying on onto the Kaisar, and the Rel do anything? Not fast enough to get the flip, but still, as IG is now back to square one, I think this Ocean Drake's really going to help Gangplank get back into the game. He's going to be able to stay in lane longer. It's not a massive difference, but it just helps him out.
I definitely agree, where this helps alleviate a lot of the pressure from their team composition, where now they do scale, of course, pretty well, as we've discussed before in Champ Select. But now, if they can start stacking these Drakes, next one, of course, is going to be a Mountain Drake, and then whatever's going to come off, there might be a Cloud Soul, which is not ideal, but it's not that bad on their team composition. Silas really likes Cloud Soul because he might even start getting to a point where he can start using his ultimate twice in a team fight. And in the mid lane,
This goes into the Silas, the Nocturne follow up with the ultimate, and that's a secured kill onto the Nocturne.
that's what Northmen can do at level 6. However, in the mid lane, we might see something
And
back.
the Lilias managed to land the E. Just dodging out the way. Nothing much else, but yeah, at Nocturne's strength, he can pretty much jump onto and engage in any lane as long as he's in a good position, and 9 times out of 10 it's going to secure him a kill.
Yeah, definitely. Of course, Phish has a lot of damage on his side as well, and then Nocturne's Sphere plus just Phish's straight damage is going to be enough to kill most mid lane champions. Except maybe like some tanks. Mundo might live against that in this stage of the game, but you're not going to see a Mundo mid lane at any time soon, I hope, because it's not that good at this point in the meta. And yeah, it's just a good play from both sides, where they both are aware of their team composition strengths and they try to play towards them.
Good knock up from one, but tower. I think the tower scared them off there.
Yeah. You see the hurt that this Orange putting down. He might be a tank, but he's still going to do a lot of damage in these lane trades. Of course, the Ocean Drake, as you said before, helps out in this lane, but it's still not going to be ideal for him to play this lane stay out.
And that's a good engage from the Galio, manages to lock Vayne up, but Vayne manages to disengage really well. I think the threat of Rel, a very strong champion at the minute, very tanky, tons of CC. She's probably one of the best peelers in the game at the minute. Like, Vayne's safe, and Lily is here, looking for a tower dive. The Rel goes in, flips up the Kaisar. Kaisar's been drowsy, Lilia secures the kill, Rel's managed to die. I think Galio got that kill, and Lilia picks up the second, and that's a 2-for-1 in favour of TC.
It's a 2-for-1 in favor, yeah, for IG, and
No,
then now
IG, yeah, my bad.
Ornn,
And
now Ornn teleports down.
Ornn's down, Nocturne ult onto the Vayne, that's another kill for the Nocturne. The Lilia's managed to get out even though the Fizz was bearing down on it.
I still think this is pretty worth for the side of IG, where they're gonna lose a lot of gold on this Vayne. Down 30 CS right now, over 30 CS in this bot lane. That's a massive CS advantage for the side of Bubati and Crossfire here on this Vayne Rel combo, and they lose a wave or maybe 1.5 waves in mid lane as well, and that's just so much gold and XP lost to the side of to turrets flat out, and then you burn the TP from Ornn. Meanwhile, Gangplank has his TP still, so Gangplank's going to be in a better position right now in this lane, where if ever he starts ganking top lane, if he ever gets a gank in the top lane from this Lilia, the Lilia might start, you know, maybe force a back from this Ornn, and then Ornn's gonna miss 2 waves, and then Gangplank's suddenly back into this lane. He's gonna be down 2 kills, but still, he's gonna have a similar amount of creeps killed, and then the gold's gonna be starting to equal out a bit as well. And it's just a massive, I think, swing in the favor of IG, that play, and you can see in the gold as well. It's very close, but given the fact it was a 1,000 gold lead early game for this blue side, for especially this Ornn, who got 2 kills in this early game, it's going to be very important for them to get back into this game, and they've been doing a very good job at it so far.
See the Rift Herald spawned mid. I think it'll only get a couple of plates, but that's still some gold. And they're going to head for the Mountain Drake to try and even up. We see Rel coming in. Lilia's been hit with the Fizz ultimate. Manages to get out, dodge the Galio ultimate from the Silas. Galio's in here, has taunted all 4. The Dragon's still in the fight. Nocturne's down. Fizz has just managed to come back up. He's trying to take out the Vayne, but she's condemned him against the wall, and the Kaisar's the only one left. And I think that's also a Mountain Drake for IG. And now the game is in their favour, and this Gangplank has forced it back from the on.
It's a massive swing here, where they're taking a team fight, and you can see, okay, Yaminzi's trying to turn on this jungler, on this Lilia, but he doesn't actually accomplish anything there. Where the side from IG seems a lot more coordinated in these skirmishes, in these team fights, where they are aware of what they're trying to do, and they're working together to try to accomplish that goal. And it's very interesting to see how the side of TC can try to remedy this by some means or another, because their team composition requires a lot of synergy to play properly, and right now they haven't displayed it that much.
We see the Rel engage in the Nocturne here. The Lilia's managed to get the Dream Dust, and that's a good kill. Good teamwork by IG there to catch him out. Fizz couldn't do much to save him. But that's another kill on the side of IG, and they are taking this game into their own hands.
Yeah, it's a massive swing again for the side of IG, where they are making these plays consistently. They're constantly proactive. Yes, Nocturne's got on a few ganks up, but right now just the plays are constantly being made by this IG side, and you can say all you want about the result of the plays, but even the agency to make them is going to show very good for their future in this tournament, where they're constantly looking for the next step to take. Even when they were down a couple hundred or 1,000 gold, they started to look for these dives in the bot lane. They were aware of what their strong points were, what their strong points are, and where they can try to accelerate the game to next.
I like what IG have done. I don't know if it's consciously or subconsciously, but this Ornn TP down after a little scrap in the bot lane, IG have managed to pick a lot of fights in that time since Ornn hasn't had his TP up. And because he was, at the time, the player with the most gold on TC's team, he's not been able to get down and influence the fights. I think that's why they've managed to get such a good swing.
Yeah, there's a lot of potential, of course, if you have Ornn, where he can, of course, TP down, but Gangplank can match that TP with his ult, and his ult has a way shorter cooldown than his TP, so playing around the ultimate cooldown from this Gangplank is also part of why I think that this comeback has happened, where this Gangplank just has a lot more influence over the map than this Ornn, and it's also because I feel like TC's just not playing around their cooldowns at this point. They're just doing random things. However, in the top lane.
Norm manages to miss the knock up, but there's a TP coming in from the Silas. However, he has got the Fizz ultimate on him. Doesn't end up too much in the top lane, but that's a TP down on the Silas. That's more pressure for TC. And as TC look up to, sorry, IG look to set up for the Rift Herald.
Yeah. Of course, you're gonna burn a TP. That's pretty good, of course, but it's still pretty favorable, I think, for the side of IG, where they managed to create more pressure around the map. Where as we see, Ornn getting dove.
Managed to get away the Vayne's burn heal to secure the kill, and the 3 stack passives managed to get her that, and she gets away from the tower. And that's another kill on the ADC. That's good for IG. 4-1-4. She's looking very strong. Lily is looking strong on the 306 too.
Yeah, this Vayne is massive right now. Has 150 CS, 50 CS over her lane opponent. Has a completed Immortal Shield Bow, which I think is a bit confusing. I think Kraken Slay is better on Vayne, but I guess you just want to survive the burst coming out from this phase, from this Nocturne, which is a lot of burst, to be fair. So it's going to be interesting to see what Bubati is going to do with this massive lead that he's got accrued right now. Where yes, he has so much gold right now to if he wants to start winning these fights, he can single-handedly win them, and it's going to be harder for the side of TC to deal with him because they don't have that much lockdown. And this game is in his hands right now. It's his agency to take these fights, to play these fights slow as Drake is spawning or engaging in the enemy jungle.
Skull Crab going towards IG here. Infernal Drake's up. This could be a 3rd Infernal Drake for IG. Managed to clear the vision. There's not much pressure. I think TC are just going to let them have this one. And he managed to clear the mid lane rift as well. And that is a 3rd Drake for IG. One more, and that's an Infernal Soul, which is an insane buff. That could literally seal the game if they get the next Drake. I think TC really need to focus on preventing that.
Yeah, I definitely agree on that point, where there's just a 5,000-6,000 gold lead on the side of IG right now, and they're really snowballing the game very, very efficiently and very, very well. I really like how they're doing this thus far, and if they get to this Infernal Soul at 23 minutes,
Ultimate comes in, manages to knock up the Rel in the Vayne, but they're staying out of the back lines. The Silas is in the middle. We see a Drowsy go down. Galio Ultimate's coming in. The Vayne's been taken out. That's a large part of the fight, but the Nocturne's been taken out too. Fizz has managed to just edge out. Gangplank gets the double kill on the Fizz. The Galio's going to fall down. And it's just the Ornn, the Kai'Sa. This could still be 4th here. The Gangplank comes in. And that's another kill for Silas. He gets the CC, and that's an ace. So yeah, I think IG are just storming away with this game at the minute.
This game is very, very over at this point. Where even if they kill the Vayne, the Vayne didn't do that much in that fight. She maybe did a couple hundred or maybe 1,000 damage to the front line or the divers on the side of TC, but even if this Vayne, this very, very fed Vayne, is out of the fight, they still can't win it. And now Gangplank's headed towards his 2-item power spike. But he might get called out.
Yeah. Gets the fear, and he's taunted as well, and that's a kill for Nocturne, so he's been caught out there. But he did get a bit of gold in that fight, so I think he's back on level terms. He can match Ornn. He's strong, he's close to his 2-item power spike, as you said. Yeah, I don't think there's any lane struggling for IG at the minute.
As I was about to say, where Vayne died early on in this team fight, and they still won the team fight pretty easily. So they have to fight like have to find multiple engages. They have to catch out multiple people, and they can because they do have Ornn, they do have Nocturne. But it's going to be very, very difficult to fight these engages properly. And if you don't execute them properly, if you don't blow up the Vayne in that CC, as we see.
Bjorn also manages to get Vayne up again. She's just got out, but she's feared by the Nocturne, and she's down. The Nocturne's drowsy. We see her knock up the Rel ultimate, grabbing them together. Lilia gets the kill on the Nocturne. The Galio's fell. And the Silas is also down. We see Fizz, Ornn and Kaisar ready to find this fight, and Rel's the only one left alive, and that's a good team fight for TC. Gangplank's coming in to try and even the deal, gets a kill on the Fizz. The Rel's knocked off the Kaisar, this could be another one. The Gangplank's taking out the Ornn, and that's another ace for IG, and they've took it right back.
It's a massive play by the side of Vor, but really coming back from that early game mishap, or a few early game mishaps that he made up there. In the top lane, dying 1v1 to the Ornn and then dying to another gank. This more than makes up for it. He's solely the reason they won this team fight. It's why the Baron didn't get taken at all for the side of TC, and it's a very, very big swing. As you can see again, they can blow up this Vayne, and I'm surprised he doesn't have a QSS yet, but they can blow up this Vayne in this team fights, but then there's no follow-up anymore. There's nothing beyond it. And then the Gangplank and the Silas and the Lilia, who has the Moonstone Renewer, they're just gonna do too much in these team fights over time, and the burst from the side of TC doesn't compensate for the lack of sustained damage they have right now.
It's here. Silas has been caught out. The Nocturne's jumped on. Torn from the Galio's kept him in the place, and that's a kill for Kaisar, getting one back. Gangplank's also solo down here, and the Ornn's coming in. I think there's going to be another kill on the team for TC. Yeah, Gangplank can't do much, there's just too much CC between the four of them, and Galio gets the kill, which is unfortunate. Would have been great on the Kaisar, or even the Nocturne, or Ornn. But still, it's a kill they needed. It's a good shutdown, and it gets them a bit of gold into this game, but I don't think that's going to help much. And we can see the Drake coming up in 30 seconds, so let's see what IG can do to stop them getting from Infernal Soul.
It's big that these fights happen around this soul, or like it's as you said, it's like about 20 seconds right now until this Drake comes up, and there's a massive positional advantage for the side of TC for this dragon. And it's baffling to see them getting caught out this many times. Gangplank got caught out a few times, once in mid lane, now once in bot lane. The Silas got caught out as well. So if they want to make it deep into this tournament, if they want to start performing at an optimal level, if they want to start proving themselves as a very, very competent team, they have to start shoring up these mistakes, these individual misplays. They cannot happen that much, because against a way better team, they're just gonna lose.
The Nocturne's burnt his ultimate, but Ornn's coming in with his ultimate. He managed to get the Silas, and that makes it a 5v4 for the fight for the Infernal Drake, but the Vayne's been managed to catch out the Kaisar. This Ornn goes in, the Galio ultimate's coming in to try and stop it. He gets the kill on the Vayne, Rel ultimate. Galio taunted under tower. Nocturne's under here, Fizz, and they both got the Gangplank. This Ornn's still fighting the Lilia and the Rel. He managed to get out, stay safe. I think they're planning on going back in so they can score this Infernal Drake, but the Rel gets a good knock up and flip on the Fizz. He manages to get away. The Lilia's burn, I think, is going to be too much for the Fizz. And Lilia jumps in on the Ornn and manages to get it. The Fizz is still alive, waiting on the blast cone. The Rel gets it, and that's a double kill for the Lilia. So IG once again turning the fight that looked that they had already lost, and now they're probably going to go for the Infernal Drake, get the soul.
These fights are just becoming scrappier and scrappier, and despite these individual misplays, against the Silas gets caught out in the side lane, despite these individual mishaps, these massive fights are making a very big statement on the fight. However,
blue team have managed to steal a Drake. That's excellent for them. Rel manages to get the kill on the Nocturne, but I don't think he'll be too bothered by that, as the Infernal Soul is still waiting for IG.
Go for the Baron right here, because they do have Vayne. They don't really have a front line, but it doesn't matter that much, where Nocturne, the main engaged, was really gone, and then
they've managed to catch the Galio out. Silas has stolen Galio's ultimate. It's too much CC for the Galio to do anything, and the team backup is in there, and they're definitely going to go for Baron now with a 5-3 team fight.
There's going to very easily shredded. Lilia, of course, does a lot of damage to these objectives. Vayne, very notorious for killing Baron very rapidly. Leandri's on Silas, of course, helps as well. And then at a very big gold lead right now, 9,000 gold for the side of IG, and it's just becoming more and more difficult for TC to find proper fights. Like they've been trying their best to catch out these fights, but then they don't close them out efficiently or properly, and then the consistent damage from the side of IG is just becoming way too much for the side of TC to deal with.
And now we see IG try to push on the top inhibitor tower. Don't think they're going to make much more of a siege. Gangplank's managed to take the mid inner tower. And I think they're just going to back off. Good use of Baron so far, 2 towers.
They're just taking these objectives right now. Silas is going to get himself a blue buff. And the gold's, of course, gone to 10,000 lead right now, where these turrets, of course, free 500 gold if you take them with your entire team. They're very easy to take. There's very little wave clear on the side of TC, which we haven't talked about yet because Baron hasn't been on the table, but they don't actually have any ways to clear waves. Of course, Kai'Sa Q does a lot of damage to a wave, but you have to be pretty close, and against this team composition, you don't really want to be close. It's going to be very difficult to hold off these sieges, despite the fact that the siege from IG isn't that great. The wave clear on the side of TC is even worse.
Got 3 inner towers from the Baron, and they've all backed. I think they've done well. I think they're just prepping for this Infernal Soul, really. It's going to wait for that to come up and use that to end the game. But as I agree with what you say, I can't see TC managing to turtle out of this and get themselves into the late game. And even if they do, I still think RG's got the better late game composition.
Of course, Orin's going to be a very big factor in these late game team fights. He's level 14 right now. He upgraded the Luden's Tempest. I don't know what the upgrade name is. I need to catch up on my Orin reading on that one. But of course, he's going to provide a couple hundred or maybe even a couple thousand in stats every few levels. And yes, these team fights are going to get closer. The 10,000 gold, he's more like 8,000 now, but it's still 8,000 is still a massive gold lead to have. And Gangplank's all 3 items, 4 item Lilia is going to do so much damage, 3 item Silas has got the GA on this Vayne as well, which makes diving on top of her that much worse, because now she can actually just come back to life and she has a lot more tools. However,
now we see a siege in the bot lane, 2 on ultimates going off, 1 from Silas, 1 from Ornn. The Nocturne goes in on the Vayne, he doesn't manage to get the kill, but the Galio ultimate's up, she's knocked up, and that's the Silas down from the Kai'Sa. We see a lot of damage going down, a 3-man drowsy from the Lilia, and that's the end of TC. That's an amazing fight. The Vayne manages to stay alive through the whole thing. They only lost to Silas at the start of the fight. I think this is GG.
Yeah, that's the power of this GA on this Vayne, where she got so much peel from the entire team, and at this point it's just